Hey guys, welcome back. And today we're going to talk about finances. So, the easiest way to see how your delivery service is doing is by running a daily financial report. Now, we call it daily, but you can run it for any specific amount of time. You can do it for the previous week, for a month, multiple months, multiple weeks, whatever it is you want to do. So, the way you're going to do this is you're going to navigate to reports right here and go to financial and then daily new. Now, once you do that, there are a couple of things to set up before you run a report, right? You can select your order sources. This is going to be app, call in. GFO is going to be order with Google orders. Then we have redeliveries. We have web, which is going to be come from your website, and then we have Olo orders. Now, by default, you want to see all of your streams of revenue, basically. So, ideally, you want to leave them all on, just so you can see, what costs you what and how it affects your profit, right? So, in this case, we're going to leave it all on. You can exclude gift certificates, you can include expenses, you can include marketing fees, software tips, and manual future order credit deductions. So in this case, let's just say we want to look at our expenses. All right, guys, so before we continue with the rest of getting ready to generate the report, I wanted to quickly touch base on what are the expenses, or what does include expenses mean in terms of that report. So these are out of software expenses, okay? These are not expenses that we track, but we can manually track it by going to your location and then go to the expenses tab. From here, as you can see here, we have a couple of different expenses as an example. You have your internet, utilities, additional expenses, whatever it is, okay? And you can set these up on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis, but you can also set it on a per order basis, okay? So usually, for example, you know that every month your internet bill is $135. You can put that on here as a monthly expense. And what the system is going to do when it's pulling the reports, it's going to take that internet expense, and if you're pulling a report for 7 days, let's say, right? It's going to it's going to take this $135, and it's going to see how much does it cost you only for 7 days, right? Because you're pulling a report for 7 days. And the same way it's going to work for daily, right? It's going to take $135. It's going to divide it by the number of days in that month, and it's going to calculate that in that sense as well. So if you want to add any expenses, all you have to do, I mean, it's pretty simple. You're going to write whatever it is, you're going to select it as, weekly or monthly expense, doesn't matter, and put the amount in. And once you hit add, it's going to show up on this list below. All right. So now we're going to continue with the rest of the report, and keep this in mind: out of software expenses that we cannot track, and we cannot know how much you're paying for these things. Okay, back to the video. We want to look at our daily financials, and we want to include integrated courier orders and zero line items. So in this case, I'm going to remove the zero line items because they don't actually affect our calculations, right? So zero line items is going to be mostly stuff that exist in our software, but if you had, for example, no orders with that type, or you had a service that you didn't utilize that month, so it's a $0 cost, we're gonna exclude that for this example. So include expenses and include integrated courier orders. We're gonna include national partner orders also, because it's gonna give us a good idea of how it affects our revenue also. So let's just run it for 1 month. We're gonna click generate report, and you're gonna see a lot of it data here, but it's really not that hard to navigate through it, and you will see that it's super useful to just have a grasp and have a review of how your business is doing. So here we go. So quote unquote daily report, but it is ran for a month. So we have our sales, then you have national partner sales, the national partner commissions. This is what you pay for to have these orders ran for you, right? Then you have delivery fees, how much you were charging for those, additional charges that you were charging for, and restaurant tips for that period of time for lunches, dinners, and breakfast. Then you have a couple of these fields that you can look at if you need to. Then you have your net sales, which is going to be the important one. And then you have your order totals from that. Okay? Now, the total received is going to be what you processed as an RDS. And here you will have your breakdown of the orders, right? So you have web orders, call-in, app, and other, right? And it's going to exactly tell you how many of those you had throughout the month. It's going to give you your average order total, and then you have your payment stats. So how how the customers were paying for these orders, minus credits. So how much were you issuing back to the customers for redeliveries or any issues that might have occurred during those deliveries, and then you have your gift codes used, and then you have your credit, cash, and corporate. Now, corporate is only going to be functioning if you have a client that's a corporate account. So if you have dental offices or schools, whatever it is. Miscellaneous stats, you have canceled orders, how many, and then how many of them required customer communication. Now, the type stats, you have delivery and takeout, pretty simple. You have your source stats, and you have your address stats, like where are those orders coming from, and all of these can be used kind of in a marketing sense, right? So you can see that you have 30% of your orders from the app, for example, right? That gives you an idea that from the app and from the web, like you can sometimes run promotions for the app to kind of incentivize people to order more through your app, because you can send them push notifications through the app and all these little tactics that you can do. And now we come to the part where we say, hey, where are we at, right? So gross received is going to be $182,000. Expected deposit from that after transaction deductions, after we deduct what needs to be paid to the restaurant, credit card processing, credits, gift cards, like all of these different things, right? This is the number you have. And then the expected deposit to you is going to be this number right here. So it tells you total transaction deductions includes but is not limited to credit card fees, auto pay, DeliverLogic payments. Okay? So all of your fees are going to be deducted there, and then you're going to see what you are probably going to be receiving. Then you have your driver receivables. You have your delivery fee commissions that you are paying to the drivers, and you have your tips that were processed. Then you have your auto paid. You have your auto pay credit, which is the system that pays your drivers automatically, partner pay. And then you have your cash transactions. If you allow cash for your drivers, that's going to be how much in cash you did, or how much in cash you processed, or your drivers processed. Now, from here, you have your RDS Logic reported net revenue, and it's basically going to run some numbers for you just so you have like a good idea. Like, for example, total received 183,000. Out of that, the total restaurant receivables, right, is how much you paid for the food to the restaurants is going to be 113,000. Then you have how much you paid to the national partners, taxes you paid for the national partners, how much was transferred to the drivers, how much you spent, for example, on order with Google fees, on your credit card fees, and your daily expenses. So this bottom part of the report is going to be your best indicator and be like, oh, I processed this much money. This is how much I'm expecting to get deposited for me for this amount of time, right? Like, because you can choose this. Remember, you can do this for a couple of days, for a week, for a month. And it's good to have this insight. So if you have any other questions regarding this, leave us a comment down below or message us on Slack. And happy hunting. We hope you can grow your business and use this information. As I said, the information above is super useful to see and say, hey, I have a lot more deliveries than I do takeout. Maybe I run a special for takeouts, or maybe I run a special for app orders. So marketing and in reinvesting some of that revenue that you get from this business is going to help you grow. So we hope this helps, and we will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.